What's going on, and welcome back to another episode of the Creative Digest, where we sit down and talk with other creators and creatives and talk about their processes and their experiences. Today's a special one. Today we are joined by another Columbus local, a Columbus native, a filmmaker, an artist, a photographer, a videographer, and I'm sure many know an absolute soccer star, an absolute footballer. This guy is insane on the pitch. It's my new friend, Jerry Ta. What's up, dude?
What's up, bro? How you been?
Really good. Really good. I've actually been really looking forward to doing this episode over the last, I guess, week or so since we've put it on the calendar. Mainly because I'm finally, or at least trying to start making my way into the Columbus scene, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially having come back up from Cincinnati and now pivoting, like, it's been a whole new world because the Creative Digest for the longest time has lived in Cincinnati, and it's been all about those Cincinnati locals and all that kind of stuff, which I don't want to change. Don't get me wrong, but I'm really excited to start getting some of those Columbus faces, Columbus creatives on the show here. So you're the first of many.
Oh wow,
I'm stoked.
It's an honor.
So for those who don't know, for my mom at home, who are you? You know, where did you get your start? What makes up Jerry Ta? And I know this might be a bit of a psychoanalyzing question here.
Yeah.
But the creative, the soccer, the Columbus. Where did all that come from?
Dang, it might be a long one.
Please,
if I explain this story.
We got a while.
I don't know. A part of me is still trying to figure out what I want to do and how much of a creative I want to be and what field specifically. But it all kind of started at Ohio State. I kind of was always involved in different organizations. So I was in the Vietnamese Student Association, and then my fraternity, Lambda Phi Epsilon. So I was always wanting to create media for them because I always thought it was a fun way to document memories. And that was the biggest thing. Memories last forever, but moments are only here and there.
Right.
So I was okay, let's give it a shot. Bought my first camera. I think it was the Sony Alpha 2, A7 II.
Yeah.
Bought it, used it. It was cool. And then later on I didn't realize it couldn't shoot 4K. But that wasn't the bummer because, to the naked eye, not many people can tell the difference.
Right.
So it was really fun, getting that experience and shooting the culture shows or dance shows, all that stuff, just to see what I wanted to shoot once I leave college. But I didn't make that decision till I had to make the switch from civil engineering to architecture.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're an architect.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that's how I kind of loved how it helped build my creative eye. Because I still got to learn new skills, whether it's Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, or Shorts, or any of that stuff for my projects. And after that, I did an internship, and I just fell out of love with it.
Okay.
It was just a simple 9 to 5. There was not much creativity like our studios inside of school, where you would collaborate with other kids and see how your project is better, or get feedback on how to make your projects better. So then I just fell out of love with it, and then that's when I was okay, let's take the film scene and let's run with it. It's something I always wanted to do. Thought it would be super fun, a new way to meet new people, new projects every day, and everything is just a new way to learn.
Right.
So that's when I just took the jump, created Fluff Studios with two of my other friends, Sean and Michael, and then here we are meeting other creatives just like you, and then now we're about to do a secret project, but they might not know about that.
No, secret project. We can't talk about that. I mean, which on that project, super pumped about. So Fluff Studio. So was that something? Was that kind of always a name that you had in mind, or was that just kind of where did that name come from? I think is where that question is trying to go. Is where did Fluff Studios come from?
Yeah. So Fluff Studio really originated from Sean. So he's been working. He graduated a year before me.
Yeah.
So he's been working on that solo, and then he was always thinking of like how to bring like the presence of media to Columbus.
Yeah.
So then that's when he opened it up, and he asked me to join on the production side. But the reason why it's called Fluff Studio is because small businesses or business in general always like to like fluff up their like image. So then like for us, it was like a way to like, okay, we can help that. We can make
Right.
your brand come to life, or like your vision or your storyline, and just help businesses grow, but also grow ourselves, and then also help creatives grow, because then they can help discover what they like, what they want to shoot, and then like how they want to move up in the creative world.
That's super sick. And I love how you guys were able to take what is seemingly a passion project, right? Like it was something that kind of didn't really spark out of necessity. It sparked out of just the desire to do it, right?
Yeah.
The creative, the growing, the creative in Columbus. I love that. I think that's amazing. And a lot of actually why I got in contact with Sean and yourself was for the same reason.
Yeah.
Was I want Creative Digest and the future of what this can be. Though still a passion project, and though I have to do it kind of on the nights and weekends type deal, no pun intended there. But I think a lot of the reason why I do that and why I kind of relate with you guys is just because I see a lot of potential for the Columbus creative scene, right? Because I think a lot of times when people think, oh, I'm going to do the creative thing, they are associating that to maybe a Chicago, a New York, Atlanta, right? You know, some of those quote unquote bigger cities.
Ones.
And that's not to take away from the fact that they are very much creative cities. I think they are.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that energy and a lot of that, a lot of those same creative minds are here in Columbus, trying to do the same things, trying to work with, the same pro teams, whether we're working for Chicago Fire or Columbus Crew. Well, I know how many MLS Cup Chicago Fire has, and it's not as many as the Columbus Crew.
Not good for them.
So it's just like looking at things like that. Like there's an actual market here, and I also, and what excites me is I feel like there's a lot of future market here. Like as we kind of like are jumping in to maybe the shallow water now, because it is kind of shallow water for the creative market here in Columbus. I feel like it's rapidly getting deeper. Just over the last 2.5 years since I've been in Cincinnati, I now see the pool to come back here and get involved, be a part of it. And so I think that's super exciting of what Fluff is doing, is that you guys are not just getting involved, but you're helping it grow. And so I think that's super cool. What's the future look like for Fluff then?
It's kind of growing right now. Well, this is probably going to be the first and last time you'll see this space. Yeah. We're actually going to get a new studio here soon. Okay. It's going to be near Ohio State's campus, across from the Barnes & Noble. If you guys are local, come check it out. But it's going to be right next to Heat Archive. Okay. That's going to be a big project. We're hoping to make the space bigger and basically create like a space for creatives to come, and then they can have conversations like this, and then meet new people and stuff. So that's what our vision's going ahead. We're moving out around, July right now?
July right now, yeah.
Yeah. We're moving in mid-August, so
so very soon.
It's happening pretty fast.
Yeah, holy cow.
So that's pretty exciting. And then so far we're just trying to see what we can create, whether it's on the spec ad side or just grow the clientele.
Right. Your clientele, and I don't know if maybe this is a Fluff Studios client or yours. Yeah. But you now do video work for Cucho Hernandez, tattoo artist, yeah? Yeah. For those who don't know, for my mom, Cucho Hernandez is probably the best player on the Columbus Crew. Scores so much.
Playmaker, scorer, just
Vibes.
Overall good guy.
Yeah, just cool dude.
Always fun.
So yeah, you do you have a relationship with him?
Well, I think it's growing, I guess you could say, just because I've been with the tattoo artist and like his collective for so long. I've been working with them. They're called Ethos Tattoo Collective.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working with them for about a year and a half now. So I think it's better to say it's just growing. Like, he keeps coming back. Like, we have having small talks here and there, but I don't want to put too much pressure,
right?
Just because he's like just got out of practice and stuff. So, but it's been pretty cool to meet him and talk to him for real.
That's kind of sick. I just wanted to talk about that, but
let's not forget about you and what you do and how you're surrounded by all the players, though.
Well, look, I mean, so I work with the in-house department, and I'm not like hanging out with them. You know what I mean? I'm not like going up, chopping it up with them and being like, hey, how you doing? Maybe one day, they'll start to be like, hey, I see you literally every time I'm here.
Yeah.
What's up? You know, but they're kind of in their own world. Their management is so like strict, if you will. Like, their managers do like, it's a good job. They should be doing this.
Yeah.
Of being like, you need to be here at this time and keep your head down until you get there, because you're on XYZ schedule.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's nice, but I want to hang out with the players.
Yeah. I feel like you should.
Yeah.
Or like get an opportunity to get to know them, because then you can find out what they like, what they don't like, and then
that's what I'm saying.
Write their story.
Yeah, right. And so you get it.
Yeah.
You are a soccer fan, soccer phenom. How long has this been a thing? Has this been your whole life?
Yeah, basically. It all started kind of when I was like younger. I was watching soccer with my grandpa. Actually, he was the one that kind of put me onto the game. I'll never forget this. It was literally watching a Man United game.
Okay.
I was literally watching him, and then I see this number 7 dude. I didn't know his name. Later on became the GOAT, Ronaldo, of course.
Yeah.
So then ever since then, my goal has always been to go pro.
Okay.
And like play like him. But obviously here I am trying to stay in the game by recording them. But overall, soccer has always been a part of my life. It might sound cheesy, but it kind of taught me a lot in life. Like, whenever you fall down, you get back up. You gotta keep trying. So, but even then, like, I had a spell where I was working with a YouTuber named McHugh.
Okay.
I don't know if you know him, but he has a brand called Strive, and we were just making like football content. And then after that, I was just like, yeah, I need to stay in the game somehow. So picking up the camera and like being around all these like footballers, uprising people, and all these semi-pro teams that I'm recording for and stuff. Right. It's just kind of been cool.
For my American audience, footballer is a soccer player.
Oh yeah.
No, and I'm glad you're like actually referring to it as it is, because I always have a hard time, because like whenever we're in these, like whenever I'm actually in the environment over at lower.com, whatever it might be, a lot of times it's footballers, it's football, it's like people who are actually in the industry call it by its name, right?
Yeah.
Because what also gets confusing is a lot of the people I work with also work with the Browns and all of those actual quote unquote football teams. And so like they still call it soccer football, but people who are only in soccer call it football, which is so interesting.
So which one do you call it?
It really depends on the day. It really depends on the day. Most of the time soccer, I'm going to be honest. Yeah. Most of the time soccer, it gets the point across here. You don't have to explain it.
That's
now,
true.
If I'm in a conversation with somebody who we've already established that we're going to call it football, then I'll stick with football.
That's fair.
Because it just makes more sense. It's like the same thing as like, because I wouldn't call you a soccer player. I would call you a footballer. You know what I mean? So it just makes more sense.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that point. So
That's
you, do you play for anyone right now?
Right now, like I'm just like pushing 30. I'm really 25, but like
pushing 30 on my way.
But I just feel like
you're just as close to 20 as you are to 30. So
that's true.
Keep that in mind.
That's true. But right now, I just play for fun. I just play with friends and just vibe out, like on a weekly rec league. So
okay, very cool.
I don't really need to train and all that, but as long as I could see them go up the journey, I'm cool.
Are they like dialed in? Are they good?
Yeah, they're dialed in.
Okay, that's sick. Are they going like semi-pro type stuff?
Some of them play on semi-pro teams.
Wow.
But some of them are just like also like me, just here for the vibes.
Yeah, right.
So
see, I'm here for the vibes. I need to get back on the pitch, man. I haven't been able to play properly for a long time.
When was the last time?
Dude, like proper 11 on 11 has been probably over a year, maybe longer.
Oh, mine's been longer. Mine's been since like high school. I played 6v6, 7v7s now. Like,
yeah,
there's
right,
no need.
right. And like organized, I guess I did have like an organized game maybe back in like March.
Oh, yeah.
Down in Sensi. And I say it was organized. It was just 5v5 question mark. It was on like a small pitch. So there was actually 4 people out on the field. So it was fun. It was cool. So I just need to get back to doing at least that. Just getting out there, kicking the ball.
Fair.
Maybe even training. Maybe I just need to just go training. Go run through some cones.
Yeah, just to get that feeling back.
Yeah, shoot some balls on net. I don't know.
Just, we can set that up.
I need to get back into it. Also, I just looked down at my drink and how it was on the edge of the table.
I know. I kept peeping it. I was like, please,
dude, that would have been so bad. Because I'm a guest. I'm a guest in this studio.
Nah,
so
he's part of the family now.
I'm not out here trying to make a mess. You know what I mean? Nah. No, I'm really pumped about I guess like whatever the next 3 years are gonna be here in Columbus. And I guess I do want to. Maybe we can hang out here for a second. Yeah. Because for my non-Columbus audience, I don't know, buckle up, like lock in. I don't really care what you do. I think I'm really excited about where the creative space is going. And I know, again, we've touched on this. But I think we've lived in this like weird, like half millennial business owner version of creative. Yeah. Which is fine. And I think even that generation is starting to pivot towards kind of what you are, what we are trying to push. And it's that this creative thing is less about the product. It's less about the business branding of it, which you guys do a really good job at maybe balancing the two. But the business branding, I'm starting to notice is becoming less of a sought after thing. Does that make sense? Like, am I making sense in this statement?
Kind of. You might have to rephrase it.
Yeah. So I feel like over the last few years, it's been here in Columbus, it's just been all about the corporate.
Oh, okay.
And now I feel like it's finally shifting into, it's more about the art. It's more about the creative. It's more about the getting together and filming, the getting together and taking photos. Do you feel that? Are you guys connected with Good Life Studios at all?
Yeah, Tucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think people like that, the photographers that they bring in, I forget who I connected with not all that long ago that shoots with them. But nonetheless, I feel like they're just starting to be like, yeah, let's just shoot cool stuff and have fun, get together. Let's have events where creatives are in the same room, chopping it up, networking. But networking I want to use in a loose term, because networking I feel like always has this double meaning of it has a greater like business purpose, and like us networking is just for the sake of us to connect on LinkedIn, to have a fiscal result, to be able to make more money or whatever it might be. And that's what I feel like the creative scene in Columbus has been over the last probably 10 years, right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
And because all of the creative people I grew up with no longer live here. Yeah. Which is fine. But all of the creative people that like I filmed all of my movies with, that I got into the scene with, live in Boston, live in Chicago, which love those guys. They're living in DC. I got one buddy who's in LA right now shooting with doing an internship with Paramount. Like they're just dialed in, right?
Yeah.
And it's because they went and sought and are doing the creative outlet thing in their cities, right? Yeah. They're plugging into the creative outlet. What I think we have a really unique opportunity to do here in Columbus is build the creative outlet, right? We have the opportunity over the next 3 years to get in front of it, start connecting with these creatives, creators, artists, whatever you want to call them, and building that creative outlet that people come to get plugged into. Just like you go get plugged into Chicago, I think over the next 3, 5, 7 years, people are going to start plugging in to the creative scene that's happening here in Columbus, right?
Yeah.
I think with the spec ad that we have coming up is a good example of that, of what that'll look like and how it's like, shoot, that was filmed where? Columbus, Ohio? What a random city to do that in.
Yeah.
And I think we have that really, really unique opportunity. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that before I jump into the next point, but
no, it's kind of like a point that I was gonna bring up too. Is like, I feel like Columbus is like in the creative scene, like not many people gatekeep the information. They kind of want to just expand and collab and like see like, oh, what brands can we get if we work together?
Yeah.
So I think even with the city growing too, like there's so many new like structures, infrastructure, like new places being built, like new campaigns being made by like either sports teams or bigger brands here. They're all just coming here. And like with the city growing, it also helps us too. So
yeah, it really does. Well, I mean, we have a winning team.
Yeah.
Which helps, right? Having a winning sports team really, really helps. When the city's backbone isn't infrastructure, or I guess it's starting to become that with like the Intel plant.
Yeah, Intel.
But when the city's backbone isn't like the business or Wall Street or tourist attractions, when it's what becomes the city's backbone? Well, I think infrastructure and the up and coming, as well as right now we have a winning MLS team. Like this is a big deal for Columbus. I mean, if you look at the revenue, we're bringing in close to $200 million to the city just because of the All-Star game.
Dang.
Right? And that's because of that we're booking hotels. That's now you have to feed all of those thousands of people who came into the city. You're now employing people at the building, right?
Yeah.
All of those PPI and Apple TV people, us, are getting employed, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a really big deal. Really, really good for the economy. But I think it's also really good for the creative economy because now you have all of these people coming together. I have some of my buddies from Cincinnati who are up here at the game shooting it on behalf of like FCC or whatever.
That's sick.
And it was so cool because I was able to introduce them to my Columbus people.
Yeah.
And be like, guys,
we're so close.
Like just you guys need to start collaborating. If I don't, you two do. You know what I mean? And so now we're not just expanding the Columbus market, but we're now expanding maybe even outside of that.
Yeah, all of Ohio.
All of Ohio. Ohio is a soccer state.
Facts.
Quote me on that.
We always get clowned.
Bro, we do.
We're still number one.
And yeah, literally, we're number one and number two, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, FCC and us. And we have three cup wins. So
yeah,
there's very few teams who also have that. Just saying. Just saying. Dude, I mean, half of the MLS All-Star roster was us.
Yeah.
And FCC.
And the coach. The coach was
literally.
us too. So yeah, we're thriving right now.
We're dialed in.
But I won't say like I've been like a season ticket holder for like many years, so then I've seen the ups and downs. So
right. Yeah,
to see the ups right now, it's pretty good.
Yeah, we were pretty
down bad.
We were pretty down bad. Basically before the new stadium.
Yeah, basically.
Like before the new stadium, we were down bad, and that's just kind of when they started dumping money into the crew, which is like good. You need to do that at least once
for the
get
rebuild.
us on the up and up, and then we can become a dynasty team. So who's your Premier League team?
My Premier League team is Man United.
Okay.
So I've been getting clowned for that one too.
Yeah, I can get by that. No, I mean, I did hear somebody say the other day that Man United is has like the biggest ego.
Yeah.
Like they think they're here, but they're actually here.
Yeah. But I'm the opposite. All my friends be clowning me, and then I'm just like, yeah, I know we're here. Please leave me alone.
Right, you're down bad right now.
Yeah, like it's fine.
I don't even know who Man United's like roster is right now.
Oh, really?
I guess
you don't have a European team you support, right?
FC Bayern. Yeah,
okay.
I do. Yeah. I do support FC Bayern. I love those guys. I mean, they're just talk about a dominant roster. They're insane. Now with Harry Kane on their roster, they just decide to never win a ring.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
feel so bad for him.
They can't get a Euro. They can't get a Bundesliga. They can't. Yeah, I mean,
they're so bad.
They're in a rut.
Yeah.
But not in a rut as far as winning, losing. They're just in a rut as far as championships go.
Yeah, they always make it.
They always make it. Always make it to the big game and then get slammed. Yeah. And I'm like, what are we doing? I'm not German, so I can't.
Can't really be passionate about it.
I can't be too passionate about it.
But you have been there, right?
I have. Yeah, I spent.
Tell us about it.
Spent all last year in it. Well, I think the Creative Digest is pretty aware.
Oh, really?
Well, because a lot of the episodes all last year, not all last year, a lot of the episodes last year were filmed in Germany.
Oh, shoot.
So from like all of July through August and then some September releases were Germans on the show. Super cool.
Really?
Some of the nicest people I've ever met. Some of the kindest people you'll ever meet.
Dope.
Obviously, Europe's Europe, right?
Yeah.
Dear
Different
Lord,
culture.
I'm going down here. Yeah, the culture's amazing, but not so much in the and I don't love when people say like, oh, America doesn't have culture. That's not 100% true.
Yeah.
Like we do. We have American culture, and it's just different.
Yeah.
It's very different. Do I love the European culture more though? Yes, without a doubt. Will I go back? Will I potentially live there? Yes. Germany, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't know if I will go live there.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically Munich because it's so expensive. Munich's so expensive. With the caveat of there's a lot of public systems in place there that will like allow people like me to like move there and get like cheap housing and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I would like have to go get my master's or something to be able to make those
big jumps
and get the cost down.
Yeah.
Because if I go and get my master's and do university there, then they basically like cover your housing. And then school's free, of course.
That's crazy.
Like I would maybe pay 80 euro, I guess, in this context, a semester for like books and stuff. But like outside of that, it's
nothing.
free. Yeah.
That's crazy.
You just enroll.
Yeah, we need that.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Like because, you know, from an outside perspective, right, and this maybe isn't at all what the topic of the show should be, but I like this conversation. So we here pay, I mean, I paid $15 a year.
Oh, really?
At the University of Cincinnati.
I had 24 a semester.
Right, and so
we're good.
Yeah, we have this.
We're back.
We're up and going, dude.
Yeah.
There was a weird cut because the audio stopped. I don't like having these glasses on. They get foggy. They get foggy, especially with
the light.
It's just there's so much glare, and so anyway, yeah, we're not really capable of having a train system here unless we elevate it, which is fine. I asked them the question that I feel like all of us Americans are wondering. It's like, well, what's your taxes like? Like you have to be paying some insane taxes. Granted, yes, they are paying more taxes than us on average, right? On average, they're paying about 7% more per tax bracket.
Dang.
So if we pay 7%, they pay 14%. If they pay, you know what I mean? Like it's add 7% to whatever our tax bracket percentage is to theirs.
Wow. It's
kind of intense. It's kind of insane. But it all kind of becomes a wash. And they're saving money in the long run because their public transit is basically paid for. Their school, big deal. That's probably the biggest one.
They have healthcare free?
Healthcare free.
Oh, yeah.
So all of those, like the compounding interest of all of these things that we have to pay for out of pocket, they're paying less per year, which is amazing. And then on top of it, their quality of life is up. Mm-hmm. Munich is above that. Is within the top 10 of quality of life.
Yeah.
Which, you know, helps. When I went and visited, I was just like, whoa, this place is incredible. But it's just that, and also with the caveat of the things that you pay for in the public services, their mentality is just completely different. Their work-life balance is actually existent. Mm-hmm. Which has been something I've been trying to introduce and bring back, but nowhere near. Like I remember, like I would go to work from 8 to 6, and then I would get off, and we're done. You don't bring your work home. Oh, wow. You don't work on the weekends. You don't talk about work outside of work. It stops there. And even in work, we would get assigned like 1 to 2 tasks a day, and me and my other American counterpart, love Aiden, were done by lunch.
What?
Because the tasks that they give you, they're expectant for them to be perfect, not done quickly.
Okay.
Like they're very quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Like when you put out a piece of content there, it better have gone through all of the checks, which is good. I love that. And their thing wasn't, let's pump out 15 pieces of content in a day. Let's pump out 2 really good pieces of content today. And I love that.
How about the style? What's like the biggest difference you see from like American style and like in the creative field versus like European style?
Well, there's a little bit like hokier, if that makes sense. Like, and now I did also work for like an alt radio station. So that's, but even when you start going to like the big people, it really, the higher you get, the more similar it looks.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, Shure is German, Sennheiser is German, right? Like all of the tech we use is theirs.
Yeah.
Most of the time, especially in the creative space. And so as far as the actual functionality and like the style of whatever, it was like, yeah, they do it the exact same. I think the biggest difference is whenever they're shooting on cameras, they shoot at 180 degrees instead of 1/50.
That's
right. So you can switch your camera to degrees.
Yeah.
Which is the same.
I didn't even know that.
And so no matter the frame rate you're in, your shutter will always be double.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. So if you're in 180 degrees, you don't have to change your shutter.
Oh, because
it's always double. The 180 degrees just means it's always double. It just works. Yeah. I don't really, and a lot of the industry does it that way too. Like you'll see like if you go into making big movies, they do 180 degrees, but that's like a European standard.
Oh.
It like their cameras come stock with it in 180 degrees, and they have to change it to like where they can adjust their shutter like we can. But yeah, like I said, it's a little hokey. Like I think the best way to describe it, I saw you had the old German jersey on, and I was pumped about that.
Yeah, you're locked in on Germany. But I get it though. I want to visit there one day.
You should. Have you ever been out of the country?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, where'd you go?
It was when I was 10 years old. I went back to my home country, Vietnam.
Okay.
But I don't really remember much. I just knew they were also growing. But like now, looking back into the city, I think the only thing growing there is like their infrastructure.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of like architectural like buildings and like new firms and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's sick. I had a buddy that just went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was there for.
Do you know what part? North or south?
Definitely north. Yeah, definitely the north side. Because he also made the jump over to like Shanghai and Bangkok and like so he did kind of the whole
tour,
Southeast Asia thing.
Yeah, which
was sick. He spent the greater part of this past summer, like this summer we're in Europe, like pretty much May 1st till maybe about a week ago.
Yeah,
he's been in Europe, Southeast Asia, Africa.
Dang,
he's been doing the thing. He's been on this show. We love Hunter.
Really?
Yeah, Hunter Shawcross. He's awesome. Absolute creative, Cincinnati-based. Very your director's director. Like kind of the super artsy type.
Yeah. Well, he knows what he's doing.
Knows what he's doing. Very, very good
That's
at what
dope.
he does.
Love to be
very, very good at what he does. Yeah, that's what I need to bring. Once I feel like I start getting a little bit better of a grasp on the Columbus community, I feel like I need to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Make the jump down to the Cincinnati community. There's a lot of insane photographers down there that are just doing the thing. I have a buddy who kind of over the last like year and a half is really blown up on Instagram.
Yeah.
Doing photography, and he did this like photo series basically that was like sports in unconventional places. So like he did fencing in like a supermarket or something like that, and he had this one guy who was like riding a bike down like a set of stairs in a historic house. It was just like sick. Like he had one where a dude was doing diving, so he was like doing like backflips and stuff off of like lecture hall tables.
What the heck?
It was just super cool, very unique.
Yeah.
He had a guy who was doing gymnastics and like doing like the balance beams and stuff in a Target parking lot.
Oh, and the big red balls and
Yeah,
stuff. No,
and
that's
it was
pretty
just
cool.
sick, dude.
Nah, that sounds sick.
So
That's
he
just not
blew
how
up kind of doing that and that type of stuff, and so he just started a creative studio down there. Him and I think it was 5 other people, and they're just doing it, man.
Really?
They got a thing going on. He just did an ad campaign with Starry.
Oh shoot,
the drink.
Yeah,
and such a cool creative idea. He had rugby players treat the case. It was like a 12-pack of Starry, and they had that. They were treating it like the rugby ball.
Oh.
And it was so sick, dude. It was like, it made sense. It just clicked. It was like very engaging ad content, very blatantly
Unique.
Ad.
Yeah.
It was very clearly an ad for Starry, but it was so sick.
That's so cool.
It was so sick. So
that's pretty cool. I think we just need to, maybe we need to throw an event or something to bridge the gap.
Yes, we do. We should. I love doing stuff like that. I love like hosting or building events or coordinating. Like, I just eat that stuff up.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's a little bit more producer. Like, because obviously I still love the creative side. But as far as like what I could see my like quote unquote day job being, it's like I would love to produce, coordinate, bring people together, run the show, whatever it is. Love that.
Yeah, I think that was my second question. I was going to be like, dang, it's been all about me. I feel like, what would you want to do for yourself in the next 3 years or so? Or where do you see yourself?
It's a great question. Because I don't know, right?
Yeah.
I definitely don't know. But when I start to think about it, because I say I don't know, because I had a vision of what it's going to be, right? I had the idea. I had it all worked out. We're very much not there. That's not where we're at. In a good way. In a really good way. I love where I'm at right now. And I love where I've been in the last year. A lot's changed in 365 days as far as just where I live, what I've been doing. But I say I want to lean into more of what I'm good at, where I'm dialed in at, where it maybe makes sense. Obviously, like, making money helps. And I just am getting started actually this upcoming week, where I'll be in those like 40 hours, and it'll be a little bit more steady work. And I hope to sit there for the next at least year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is. Like, in the grand scheme of things, 2 years is nothing.
No.
It's nothing.
Nothing at all.
And so settle down for 2 years. I say settle down because I want to lock in here in Columbus and start just digging, figuring out where all of the stuff is at. Yeah. Where all of the creatives are at, where the events are at. It's just like, I want to do it all. Like I want to, in the next 2-3 years, I want to see how far I can take Columbus and see how far I can get with Columbus being kind of that home base. That doesn't mean stop traveling. That actually means more traveling. That means go to the Chicagos more often, go to New York more often, go to Europe more often, whilst trying to build and grow and see what I can actually make happen here. So yeah, I think that's the short answer. As far as what jobs I want to be at and the clients I want to be working with, who knows? Yeah. I'll say yes to all of it, right? Yeah. I'm definitely not above working for the small client, and I'm definitely not above working for the big client. So it's just bring them all on, and I'm ready to do it. Like, let's just figure it out, because that really is kind of what we're all doing here, right? Yeah. We're just kind of figuring it out. And I really hope I never have it figured out, because that means my ego's gotten bigger than my desire to learn, right? True. As soon as I start to saying I have it figured out is really when we're down bad. Oh, yeah. Damn, that's a good one. Clip that, right? Write that down, guys. Write that down. Yeah, so I think that's the goal, right? Is to just continue learning, continue growing, and say yes, right? Say yes often, because I think saying yes is super important, right? And now I say that with the caveat of saying no to the right things makes your yes more valuable, but saying yes to the adventures, to the side quests, to working less. Like, it's okay to not work all that all. Like, if you're tired, take a break. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's those things. And as well, I think finally with that point, to put a bow on that point, is to start building a community. The most important thing I want to do over the next 3 years is just have a real community.
Yeah.
To where it's not just centered around work or a paycheck or a specific project. It's just people who are like-minded, who want to kick it, hang out, whatever, right? Just a community of people. And we did that in Cincinnati, and it's thriving, and I love it. And it's called The Backyard.
Oh, nice.
And The Backyard's still thriving. And now, through that backyard outlet, people are coming together, and they're going to parties, they're hanging out, just outside of, not associated to the backyard, right? They're not doing it under the guides of an event that we're hosting. But a lot of that sparked and started because we just were intentional about building that community. So I guess I got to start a Backyard Columbus, right?
Yeah, here for it.
Got to start building the community up here.
Yeah, that would be cool. Let's make it happen.
Write that down. No, I think a lot of what Creative Digest is trying to do over the next while is that, right? Is featuring, is putting creators up and coming, right? Putting them on a public platform and having and allowing for the Creative Digest to become said public platform.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, dude, Instagram is just impossible. It's impossible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since you brought that up, do you see Instagram as like inspiration, or do you see Instagram as a distraction?
I think it can be both, right? I started taking photos for like DJ Leak and stuff, and a lot of that photo style, I was really, really inspired by this photographer over in Germany, which I don't know. I just found his page, and he does like that club, nightlife scene photography. And I was like, I love that. Haven't seen a single other photographer doing it, style-wise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sweet. I'm going to adopt that and then obviously apply it to my look because I kind of already got a look going.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been great. So I've used that as a local or as a form of inspiration. But you catch me at 10 o'clock at night or
scrolling.
And it's just
non-stop.
The Instagram Reels, dude. They get me, man. It's literally built to trap you because if you click on the video, you're now stuck in the Reels feed.
Mm-hmm. It's
awful. So yes, do I see it as a distraction? 100%. Do I see it as a tool? 100%. So I think you just have to, a lot of it comes down to self-discipline. But if you don't have self-discipline, then it becomes a trap and it becomes toxic and it becomes, you start feeding some of those thoughts, right? Because that's when, and I've said it before on this show, but I'll say it again, right? Instagram, social media, is just a cesspool of comparison.
Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was like, that's the one quote I have like wrote down in my notes. Like, look at it every day. Like, that's like the quote where I'm just like, oh, if I start to feel like an imposter syndrome, then I just stare at it and be like, okay, let me calm down because I'm happy where I'm at.
Right, dude. And because once you start, and again, I've said this quote on here before, comparing yourself to others is what's going to end up killing you. Comparing yourself to yourself is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think comparing yourself to, because here's how I look at it. Would me a year ago today be jealous of where I'm at now? And if I can answer honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Then sweet, dude. Then you're doing the thing. Like, and then I think even to make it more of a micro, right? Because that's kind of the macro perspective. To make it a bit more of a micro perspective is like, are you doing a little bit better today than you were yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
If so, sweet.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Right. It's literally all that matters. And because nowadays, like we're only celebrating, it seems like. and which is why, again, that Creative Digest market, and where I think that celebration of this small everyday creator is so important. Because right now, the only people we're celebrating are people with 1 million followers or more.
Yeah.
And go them. You know, if I were them, I'd want to be celebrated too.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're little old me or somebody else sitting in their college dorm or whatever, and you're seeing 19-year-olds at the Met Gala, or you're seeing 20-year-olds who are making movies, or you're seeing people, it becomes tough.
Yeah.
You're like, oh wait, why do I not have
there?
a social media following of X amount of millions? It's because it's like that's for them.
Yeah.
They're meant to have that.
And they put in the work.
And even because I know a lot of people are like, well, they had overnight success. Most of the time, no, they didn't. Like most of the time, they didn't have overnight success. You just saw it overnight, but they've been putting in the work for whatever. And if that's what you want, if like you want to go get those millions of followers on Instagram, there's literally algorithms for you. So like go follow that, and you'll get your 1 million followers. But just make content that's true to you, important to you, grow a little bit every day, and there's going to be a lot more satisfaction in that than chasing the follower count. Because, I mean, let's look at maybe a Vine as an example. People are, I want to be a Vine star. Where's Vine at? It doesn't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. And some of those stars who were big Vine stars are irrelevant.
Yeah.
There's some people who made it out, right? You have your Logan Pauls and your King Batch, right? Like those guys kind of made it out and were able to do something with it. Mm-hmm. But like, do you remember a guy named Rudy Manusco?
No.
He was a Vine star.
What did he do?
He basically made like hilarious, like Vines. He did like one that was like Spider-Man, and whatever. It was hilarious. Where's he at now? I think he like maybe makes music or something. I don't know.
Shoot.
But I think that's just to my example of like what happens when TikTok dies. What happens when Instagram falls off the face of the earth? It will happen. It will happen. Will there be a new social media to replace it? Yes. But building a platform is irrelevant unless you want the influence. But building a community, that's second to none. If you have 10 people who you know will show up and support you and be there, and because not just be there when you're here, but also be there when you're here. To me, that's 10 times as valuable as having 1 million followers.
For sure.
Who are just there to watch you.
Just for that moment.
Right? I don't want people to watch me. I want people to be there with me. And I think that is the goal for the Creative Digest, myself, I'm not really in the business of building followers. I'm in the business of building communities. Clip that out. That's good.
Yeah, you've been on a roll.
Thoughts? Any closing thoughts here?
Not really. I can't wait to see like how we can grow the creative scene in Columbus.
Heck yeah.
Whether it's just by our work or together. I'm excited to meet new people. Excited to work on our secret project.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what goes from there.
You have a message for the world?
Message?
Yeah.
Not really. Just everyone has their own path. Everyone has their own timing. Don't rush things. And just make sure that whatever you do or whatever you choose to do in life, make sure that passion is always there and things will come to you.
Heck yeah. I love that. Where can we follow you? Can we follow you anywhere? Instagram?
Oh, yeah. I have Instagram.
Speaking of following.
It's JerryTA_.
Okay.
And then our studio is just fluffstudio.us.
Love that. Dude, you got to go follow Jerry. You got to go follow Fluff Studio. I mean, this was such a good way to, I think, kick off the Columbus scene, right? For me, this is a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. This is the jump into what will be, I think, a very, very fruitful community and creative scene. With that being said, make sure you follow, like, subscribe, all of that super fun stuff. If you want to be really plugged into the podcast, you got to follow the Spotify. But, of course, you can follow us anywhere else. Just Google the Creative Digest and follow whatever makes sense. Also, trying to build the Instagram as well, right? We we got to get the clips and all that kind of stuff up. So make sure you follow that. Tune in because the newsletters are going to start coming out here soon.
Yep.
Super pumped about that. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys. Ciao.
Let's go.